I get lost in my mind. I get lost in my mind. Oh, wait, what? Yeah. Okay. Where the shit is that coming from? Oh, my phone.
You go online, and so so I went online and I signed up. I could name my church, so I did. I have this church. I'm the only member. It's called the Church of the Spirit of Saint Joachim of Flores, which isn't necessarily the name that you would expect. I liked Saint Joachim from what I knew of him because he had this idea that there were three epochs. There would be three epochs in Western civilization, and one would be the epoch of the Father, and that's roughly the Old Testament epoch, and Old Testament morality that has to do with following rules. And then there was the epoch of the Son, and that was, of course, the Christian epoch of the last 2,000 years. And he believed that what would come after that would be the epoch of the Holy Ghost. And the Holy Ghost is this weird spirit thing that hypothetically Christ left behind that could inhabit people and guide them on their path. And it seems to me that that's very much in keeping with the Orthodox idea that the proper moral pathway for each individual to take is to attempt to bear the burden of the perfect individual, right? To become Christ, so to speak, in an attempt to transcend mortality and finitude and to unite with God. And I thought, well, that was kind of a cool idea. So I thought, well, I might as well have that as a church. And then I thought, who should I be in this church? And I thought, well, Pope was probably a little bit on the narcissistic side, let's say. So I thought, I'll be Metropolitan. Because I thought that was kind of archaic enough and sort of out of the way enough so that it was a good joke. So I'm my own Metropolitan, my own church. It only has one rule, and so you can join it if you want. The rule is that if you're a member of my church, you can't follow stupid rules. If you're a member of my church, you can't follow stupid rules. The rule is that if you're a member of my church, you can't follow stupid rules. Yeah, so that's a good rule, because it's an anti-rule rule, which is really funny as far as I'm concerned. Yeah.
But each one should build with care, for no one can lay a foundation other than the one that's already laid, which is Jesus Christ. If anyone builds on this foundation using gold, silver, costly stones, wood, hay, or straw, their work will be shown for what it is, because the day will bring it to light. It will be revealed with fire, and the fire will test the quality of each person's work. For what has been built survives. If what has been built survives, the builder receives a reward. If it is burned up, the builder will suffer loss, but yet will be saved, even though only as one escaping through the flames. Now, Paul is elaborating on his building metaphor that he's working here. You have a multiplicity of efforts and you have a multiplicity of skills, but you have one communal over long periods of...
Hey, everyone. So the Thunder Bay videos have come out, and Vervaekes is big on recursive relevance realization, and I have always wanted to force myself through a winter recursion, and part of a recursion is going back through stuff, and so I've decided to do a recursive accountability stalking time allotment, which is going to end up being a marathon because there is so much to recurse through. And what I'll be personally looking for while I do this is things I said I was working on or would be doing or moving toward, so I can make a list and hold myself accountable. Thank you for joining with your time and attention. What a cute little foci of awareness you are. So this is back in the Burrito Fremen days. Enjoy. I think it's time we stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Hello and welcome to the Burrito Fremen stream. I'm your host, Griswold Gaius Grimm of the First LARP Ingression Protocol. And let me tell you that you may believe that there is no magic in this world. You may believe that you're a muggle. But the truth of it is, we cast spells on each other with words all the time. And as such, you need savings throws versus the mind control. You get to choose survival, social, wisdom, or heart. I rolled a number. If it's over 10 and you picked it, then you made your savings throw. You take half damage from the mind control that follows. Today, that mind control involves a cosmological burrito and a device to I don't know, plantify the desert. Anyway, survivalists got a 14. It's very dark in here. Very nice. 14. Socialists with a 5. You may have earned enough bonuses through activity on the Discord to get that over 10. Otherwise, full damage from the mind control. Sophists, you as well. 6. 6 for you. Heart folks, though. 18. None of this mind control is going to get through to you. Now, let me talk to you first. What has happened is the Bridges of Meaning Hub has begun a series of investigative reports with They're not called that anymore. Have you ever been like watching your old live streams and remember that you're currently live streaming and have not given your people a savings throw where they get to choose between survival, social, wisdom, or heart for this long marathon of your other mind control? I have choose. Survivalist with a 3. This is gonna get to you. Socialist, you don't have the endurance. 8. Sophist, also a 3. Wow, this is... Heart folks, also a 3. That's 3 3s, man. Something about recursing. Nikola Tesla, 369? I don't know. The first investigative report into the cosmological burrito.
all of the different metals. You have the clothes that the workers are wearing, right? You have the shirts, the pants, the socks, the boots. You have all of this different stuff that's going into that nobody's really thinking about. But there it is. And again, it makes up the reality of your burrito. Isn't that interesting?
Speaking of the reality of my burrito, live there in the chat, the all-seeing you, Ardlian, Top Fed Coco, and hi everybody. Remember, everybody, there is no agency. We want what's best for you. And you too, you. Welcome to Burrito Fremen stream. Where were we? Oh, yes.
So let's move on to the next one here. Well, I got a diagram of some cinder block here. This is all very interesting because now the cinder block is what this factory is probably made out of. And somewhere in the factory there's cinder block. I guarantee it. And in there you have the mortar that's filling, that's holding the block together. You have a motorcycle outside doing whatever it's doing.
So he got this whole spiel about like all the stuff that goes into you getting a burrito and how to be all grateful and whatnot for it. And then good old Gavin responds with this.
This has never been created before in the history in our history. And then when you want to provide clean water, when you understand that you need humans, you need air, you need clean water, then you start to understand, it looks like we need plants, like we need to be able to grow plants, and it looks like we need to be able to, the plants help with the air, and what plants need water too. It seems like we need water for our plants and for our animals. We need clean water. So the cosmological burrito, at the end of the day, is connected to the convective heat engine. What's interesting is this process of just taking anything seriously, like the cosmological burrito, can lead you to the answer. And this is what this means is most people don't take things seriously. So people will consume this content that we are creating and just, what is it? I'm trying to get a Grimgro's term. We are the audience. We're just the audience, just consuming content, just feasting on the content, on the burrito. And our mind is totally absent of where that burrito comes from, and it's absent of all the people who don't have access to that burrito. Right? But
Audience is my term? Audience is my no. No, mindless zombie horde. Just eating our content. I'm not participating in the Discord, not commenting, not liking and but anyway, so this thing he wants to do, right? It makes green the desert with this making of the water, right? So I realized then there that this was a Liet device, like from Dune. And then he's talking about the burrito, and thus the show, Burrito Fremen. This poor boy, he wants to build a cult around making this machine. We can help with that, but he's got to rebrand it as a Liet device and get the sandworm hooks into the Dune fandom, right? And then behind and underneath this project, and he can get somewhere. And there, I made a show for that. Burrito Fremen. Special thanks to the Shadow Cabal of production executives with the slogan of the day, "You're not a bad fella." Also, in other news, we got old Saint Sartori over there going after Dave Rubin for doing surrogate parenting, which is always fun.
This story, it goes to show, like, God gave David all this stuff that would be forbidden to most people. And, it would be forbidden to a priest. If a priest wanted to serve God, he would not be able to have all these wives and all these things and whatever. He would not be able to go.
What he's saying here is like King David got a really good cosmological burrito.
Go out into battle and do these things, because that calling would preclude those privileges. But for David as the king, God gave him all the things that David wanted, and yet he chose to take a thing that was not his to take, that was not right for him to take. And I think that, for those who are attracted to people of the same sex, you know,
What?
that
What,
desire
Sartori?
is for them in the eyes of God the one thing that they cannot have.
Oh, not the forbidden fruit. Oh, man, this guy.
And
ventured a number, an 8-figure prime. They both turned towards me, then suddenly became still, with a look of intense concentration and perhaps wonder on their faces. There was a long pause, the longest I'd ever known them to make. It must have lasted a half-minute or more, and then suddenly...
Look how much Paul is enjoying listening to this guy.
simultaneously, they both broke into smiles.
They've arrived at communion. They are worshiping.
They had, after some unimaginable internal process of testing, suddenly seen...
Well, at least prime numbers are real. Are they?
...my own 8-digit number as a prime. And this was manifestly a great joy, a double joy to them. First, because I had introduced a delightful new plaything, a prime of an order they had never previously encountered. And secondly, because it was evident that I had seen what they were doing, that I liked it, that I admired it, and that I could join in myself. They
agreed on that, then we can have this conversation about how wonderful we are as a species and how we're all universally basically good when we've stopped chopping bits off of children's genitals. I'm doing it again.
Yeah, you're doing it again. It's okay, man. It's been a while.
A little bit of a didgeridoo here at the end, maybe.
What a satisfying live stream that was Grim Grizz provided for everyone. Hey, everyone. Remember, Embody. Remember, Embody. Oh, I got a joke. Check this out. So one chameleon runs up to the other chameleon and he's like, Al, help. And Al is like, what's wrong? And the other one is like, I lost my arm. And he's like, well, and Al says, well, just grow it back. And the main character that I didn't bother to give a name says, I can't. I forgot how to remember. This is the recursive accountability stalking allotment marathon. So many demons. Hello, Joseph Ward. Happy Saturday. So I'm going through my old live streams, making sure I didn't say I would do something that I've never done. And we've made it through Burrito Fremen, and there was nothing in there. And now I present to you the what's next there? The Thunder Bay promo stream. That apparently happened on August 5th. On the 5th of August. Let's watch it together. From the start, Jackhole. All right, then. Let's be live for everyone. What? Yeah. Yes, we're going to be live for everyone, Grim. Come on. Snap to it. Yeah. What are you talking about? Yeah, we're... Hey, everybody. It's Grim Grizz and the Virtually Not Alone experience. Hi. So, you might think you're alone, but we too are virtually in solitary confinement, and together We are virtually not alone. Have you heard? Ah, what this? Yet? No, not that one. Are you new at this? Oh. So, like, YouTube is doing this thing where if I don't feed them enough video, they, like, start stifling the stream. It's alright. It's alright. Hey, what's up? Okay, so as we do savings throws around here. Let's do those. You get to choose survival, social, wisdom, or heart to play. Your number is based on the die I roll right now. If you get over 10, you take half damage from the mind control. If you chose survival, you got a nat 1. And are fully subject to the mind control of today's show. If you chose social, you got a 6. And may have gotten enough bonuses through community participation to get over 10. Otherwise, sophists with a 3, you're in trouble. Those heart folks, though, with 10, just enough to take half damage from the mind control that follows on today's Thunder. Oh, it's the 5th now. Hold on. Cut. 5th. Yeah, you were gonna do it last night. Okay. Well, no, it's the 5th. On today's Thunder Day promo, Grim Chris live stream. Welcome. Remember, Embody. There is no agency. Now, one of the things I struggle with as somebody who streams and needs to leave the stream to go to the shed all the time is finding things to play, like great tunes for you guys while I go to the set. So if you know any content creators who make the music and are trying to get the publicity, I need stuff I can play that doesn't get the stream shut down. Like, swing by the Discord, drop me a tweeter or something. Like, I will help promote your people if it's not terrible. And sometimes even if it is. Okay. Okay. Today's episode of Thunder Bay promo. The backstory goes a little bit like this. Hey, Paperbull. Once upon a time, the apostle of purpose, the apostle of practice, and the apostle of people agreed to all meet together in a place called Thunder Bay. This event approaches. I was invited to attend this event. However, it is on the wrong side of the double vaxxing line, and I was not able to attend. But the event is still coming, and the agency that's not an agency. Remember, Embody, we want what's best for you. Has instructed me to make a promo for this event based on this and related footage.
We can have as much pleasure as we want. It's insane.
And of course, love is an interesting one to get into with respect to constraint. It's like, well, my marriage constrains me because I'm only supposed to have sexual relations with one woman. Or wouldn't I?
Okay, so you see, this poor pastor fellow is feeling sexually constrained, and so he's going to meet up with this fellow over here in the top left and this other guy in this place called Thunder Bay. And the agency wants me to make a promo for it, and thus the Thunder Bay promo live stream event, the Virtually Not Alone event, was born. Welcome. That's what we'll be doing here today. I hope you enjoy the ride. This thing is theoretically from this. Yes, Demons and the Machine.
So we kind of talked about like this space, the conversations that we're part of, and kind of who knows where you sort of draw the boundaries, but there is sort of definitely a coherence to the conversation. And I want to kind of...
That guy is this fella. He's a villain.
Ask where you feel that coherence is at the moment, because for me, I was really struck by recently, I hosted a conversation between Paul Kingsnorth and Mary Harrington that felt to me to be sort of a very interesting coalescing of the conversation. It overlaps with a lot of the conversations that you've had, Paul Vanderklay's been talking about, and they were really talking about, if I could summarize their conversation, it was sort of looking at, I call it the war on reality.
Virtuosity and virtue, and this is in the key of a key thing in Taoism, right? Cultivating a kind of profound receptivity. There's a lot of ways in which we're blinded, we're dulled, we're deafened, and that will prevent us from, I'll use your language for now, for hearing the revelation.
Oh, whoa! Sorry for the interruption, ladies and gentlemen. But this pet cow has confessed to us he has been tempted to get the mark just to attend Thunder Bay. And as such, I feel obligated to do the following, but it's going to take me a minute to do the following, so here's some more of this for commentary.
And so I do think there's a lot and I don't think you're recommending passivity. I think there's a lot we can do about cultivating a deep and profound kind of receptivity that will become ability to respond when the new insight, the new disclosure happens. I do think that is something that can be recommended right now for people.
What? There's a new disclosure gonna happen? I wasn't paying attention. Ladies and gentlemen, this here is Thunder Bay, according to Google Maps, who knows all and sees all. It's right across from the Isle Royale National Park. But this here at Eagle Harbor, this is on the not double vaxxed side of, this is the double vaxxed line right here. On this side is Eagle Harbor and Eagle River. Maybe we can gather there and wave to them this September.
Demon behind this, he might say yes, but he's like, I don't know how to say that.
Well, he did say that he felt that the driver was metaphysical.
Right. So he's kind of pointing towards something like that.
Okay. That's an interesting question. But you're a professor with tenure. Like, you don't talk about kind of metaphysics in this.
I just want to say as a follow-up, we did not gather on the Michigan side and wave to them. Thunder Bay sounds like it should be in Florida. We should have a petition to have it. I don't know, because there's like this whole... Have you seen American Gods, this series they have on the Jeff Bezos network? By the Neil Gaiman? Anyway, there's like Indian thunder, hawk, thunder stuff. Like legends that relate to the area. That's not... So no, Top Feed, no. While I'm here, this is a recursive accountability stalking time allotment marathon, where I'm going through the past streams looking for things I said I'd do so I can follow up on them and actually do them. Integrity of logos.
Wait. Do you feel uncomfortable about?
What do you mean? So
well,
I do talk about distributed cognition.
You've got a reputation you've got a reputation to protect. We don't. It's basically what I'm saying.
And there we get into the question of institutions, which will come in quite a bit later. And then it's a question that David keeps pointing to, because David and Jonathan might have individual reputations to protect. They might have YouTuber reputations to protect. But John is a professor. The Christian Reformed Church right now, on CRC Voices, we're having a big conversation about confessionality.
I must confess that since I saw magic appear in the chat, everybody gets a new round of savings throws. Hey, thanks, Magic, for being here. You make everything better. Joseph says it's very thundering in Florida. Very thundering. Magic, we're doing the recursive accountability stalking time allotment marathon. And we're on episode number 2 from August 5th right now. Here's the saving throw. Remember, Embody, you can choose survival, social, wisdom, or heart. And we come together here mainly, most of all, so that we can be virtually not alone together, because we're all alive at the same time. Hey! Oh, choose. You get a real... I didn't say it. Wait, choose! Oh, survivalist with a nat 20. Socialist with a nat 1. Sophist with an 18. And hard folks at a solid 10. Welcome to the mind control. Lakota. I can't say Wakanyan because I don't even know how to pronounce those N's. How do you make those fancy N's on the? You look at the fancy N's Top Feed made in the hive mind on the keyboard there. That's wild. Okay, back to the reruns.
And reputation, because what's been happening in terms of the Christian Reformed Church and the question of same-sex marriage, I mean, it's just suddenly this machinery that was felt to be archaic of confessionality suddenly is vivid all across the board where it wasn't just 2 years ago.
Jonathan's point.
That wasn't a very entertaining clip. So, but toward the end here,
Have your peace. Again, book of 1 Corinthians. What happens in the body of Christ is that different people have different pieces and they play their role.
More going from making things just for YouTube to trying to get more mainstream and legacy media attention on some of.
Let me see if I can find the comment. It was beautiful. All right, I will sum up. Someone's like, David Fuller is leaving this corner of the internet and going to Kathy Newman's office. And she knocks on the door and she's like, so what you're saying is you want your old job back.
Some of these ideas, some of these practices, going back, completing that kind of hero's journey of going from the legacy out into the alternative and coming back with the gold, and supporting people like yourself and shining a light on it and saying this is significant. Hey, everyone look at this is significant, and this is how it fits together with other things. That's the thing I think that I am able to bring, because I've been involved in so many of these different conversations. I've also got.
What an opportune moment to bring up Chad's latest Joker fetish. Where is it? It's in Bridges of Meaning Hub. Not the nihilistic nachos one. Not that one, Chad. Not that one. This one. Where it's got the Lady Gaga face because she's the new Harley Quinn.
Greetings and welcome to the Bridges of Meaning Hub channel. I'm Chad the Alcoholic, and today we're doing an investigative report into the Joker films. So
Now, under the definition for induced delusional disorder in the ICD-10, we see that the secondary partner has to develop a delusion originally present in the other subjects. The two subjects must be linked by a strong relationship and be relatively isolated, and the secondary partner does not suffer from schizophrenia or delusional disorder and does not manifest a delusional belief before coming into contact.
I should probably go back over that, but I wanted to disclaim that the Bridges of Meaning Hub channel is no longer the Bridges of Meaning Hub channel because the Bridges of Meaning Hub channel was struck by the Antifa. And the Antifa made them, now it's the Friday Morning Nameless. Thank you for joining us in the Recursive Accountability Stalking Time Allotment Marathon. And here's about the thing we were watching.
Subjects. The two subjects must be linked by a strong relationship and be relatively isolated, and the secondary partner does not suffer from schizophrenia or delusional disorder and does not manifest a delusional belief before coming into contact with the primary subject. So essentially, the diagnostic classification only covers imposed psychosis and communicated psychosis and excludes simultaneous and induced psychosis. Shared psychotic disorder in the DSM-4-TR had pretty much the same criteria. As I mentioned, in DSM-5, we don't see the retention of that diagnosis. If somebody now met the criteria for that older classification, they would likely be diagnosed with schizophrenia, brief psychotic disorder, or delusional disorder. I think most likely it really would be delusional disorder. If the secondary partner does not fulfill the diagnostic criteria for a delusional disorder, the diagnosis of other specified schizophrenia spectrum or other psychotic disorder can be used with the following specification: delusional symptoms in the partner of an individual with delusional disorder.
Now, it's important to me that you get the delusion correct. And when you manifest your delusional symptoms, they are sticking to the canon of the LARPgate. And so the goal overall is the creation of this thing called the God Mask. And basically, it's like that Joseph Campbell clip I did with Karen. Splice it in? Okay. And the thing we're putting on their faces, it's like, okay, so experientially, everybody should have this by now. That moment when somebody pulls you aside and lets you know that Santa Claus isn't real, like that, but with like, the government loves you. And okay, and now here's the way the world really is. You're one of us now. Help us hold things together. That's the God Mask. And the goal is overall to weave through these pillars of people searching through wisdom to assemble the pieces of the God Mask. Sometimes that means we have to listen to boring intellectual folks, but so be it. Yeah?
Selective and enabling. Evolution. Evolution needs natural selection, and it kills things off and it winnows things down. Yes, right? But it also has variation. These are enabling constraints. Limits not only, right, and this is what I mean about you have to hear the term in an unmarked way. They're not just constraining you, they're also affording you, right? So language limits me. I'm a critique.
God bless you. God bless you, Hi-Res.
Officer K, D6-3.7. Let's begin. Ready?
Yes, sir.
Recite your baseline.
In blood black, nothingness began to spin. A system of cells interlinked within cells, interlinked within cells, interlinked within one stem.
Fuck off, skin job.
And dreadfully distinct against the dark, a tall white fountain plays.
Cells.
Thank you. Good to see you, Rez.
I criticize this here. Propositions limit us, but language also enables me. I can talk about, what might have happened if Africa had discovered steam power earlier than England. I can do that, and you can go, oh, and you can like language. Bertrand.
All right. As discussed, today's episode is the Thunder Bay promo, where I'm going through this stuff to get material for the promo. And that moment.
Also, do that, and you can discovered steam power earlier than England. I can do that, and you can go, oh, or earlier than England. I can do that, and you can go, oh, and you can like language. Bertrand Russell once said, no matter what might have happened if Africa had discovered steam power earlier than England. I can do that, and you can go, England. I can do that. I can do that, and you can go, oh, and you can eloquently a dog barked. Bertrand. I can do that. And you can go, oh, and you can
You're way off baseline.
I can do that. And you can go, oh, and you can I can do that. And you can go, oh, and you can I can do that. And you can go, oh, and you can
I'm sorry you had to go through that, but you see, now we have the clip, right?
like language. Bertrand Russell once said, no matter how eloquently a dog barks, it can't tell you that its parents were poor but hardworking.
You know, and like, it wasn't until now, during this recursive accountability stalking time allotment marathon, that I made the connection between where he says,
like language. Bertrand Russell once said, no matter how eloquently a dog barks,
and I didn't put that together before, but now that we're going through it again. Drop feed magic Joseph, thanks for joining us. With your time and attention in the hive mind, I hope you're having fun. If it gets to be not fun, let me know. I'll try to make it more fun.
It can't tell you that its parents were poor but hardworking. So language both limits me in the negative sense, but it also affords me in the positive sense. And so absolute freedom and an absolute removal of all, it will all become completely self-determining. But does that mean you think the self is a bound, limited thing? No, the self is completely, and it's like, what do you mean by self-determination? If there's no limiting, if there's no...
All right, now I got to find the part where Pajot talks about demons. Hold on.
Organically manifests itself in a normal, not sometimes in a messy way and sometimes in a violent way, but would work itself out. Whereas now what we've got is, in order to access the metaverse and to have access to absolute freedom to do whatever you want, you have to give up every single aspect of yourself to this machine. You have to be completely submitted to it. You have to see, everything about you is going to be owned by this thing, and there's no way out of it. And so it's like, it's 1984 and Brave New World at the same time. Like, who thought?
See, right there's a pretty good bit.
That this was possible. But it seems like that's what we're kind of seeing on, owned by this thing, and there's no way, everything about you is going to be owned by this thing, and there's no way out of it. And so it's like, it's 1984 and Brave New World at the same time. Like, who thought that this was possible? But it seems that this was possible. Everything about you is going to be owned by this thing, and there's no way out of it. And so it's like, it's 1984 that this was possible. But it seems like that's what we're kind of seeing on the horizon, where.
Do I find hand talking a foreign language, bro? It turns out they got a whole language. I don't know what stream it's in, but if we do enough reruns, we'll get there.
It's like, it's absolute control, but one that is balanced out weirdly with this.
Okay, this is excellent. This is tremendously helpful, and thank you for speaking on his behalf, because he's not here to speak for himself. So there's now an issue.
Wait a minute. Wait. I need a song break. Only some people can hand it up while speaking. I think more people should hand it up while speaking, because it really helps convey messages to otherwise, poor sighted people can get facial expressions through hand gestures that you don't make normally. We need a song break, guys. So, though we're apart, I'm in love with you still. Oh, I don't know. This is grim, I think. We'll get there. We'll get there. Back to the reruns on this recursive accountability stalking time allotment. And remember, Embody, if you catch me saying that I'm gonna do something in the chat, that's real, or in the rerun, that's really what we're looking for. Please help me make sure I don't miss it. Also, I don't know. I don't have a bingo card yet, guys. I think I need a bingo card. You know, like the really fancy people who make a lot of content have these things called bingo cards because they say the same all the time. And when they say the same then... So if anybody wants to make a bingo card, you'll get I'll give you a +7 save indigo bonus, you know? All right.
Issue of almost finesse or virtuosity or nuance, because you can't be critical of the self-organizing, having a life of its own aspect of this thing, right, because that's how it functions.
Instrumentalization of things towards my own self.
Okay.
And so what they're saying is freedom. But like, I prefer the desire part because I think it's closer to a whole historical development.
Well, freedom is understood as freedom from restraint on desire.
Exactly. There you go. Okay. And so historical development.
Well, freedom is understood as
like, I prefer the desire part because I think it's closer to a whole historical development.
Well, freedom is understood as freedom from restraint on desire.
Exactly. There you go. Okay. And so what is all things towards desire. The only is the desire to instrumentalize. This is maybe filtered through my own symbolic lens, whatever, is to say something like, what I see is the desire to instrumentalize all things towards desire. They won't say desire, they say freedom. But like, I prefer the desire part because I think it's closer to a whole historical development.
Well, freedom is understood as freedom from restraint on desire.
Exactly, there you go. Okay. And so what I see
All right. Me working on is not as entertaining as I like to be for a live stream. So the rest I will do. But look, I'm obeying the agency, and I'm making the Thunder Bay promo. I might, Luke, and I mean, I feel as though I'm not being sufficiently entertaining for everyone. Good to see you, though. Good to see you. Okay, let's jump back to a Paul part.
Got a sense of where the mainstream conversation is and what the pressure points are on that.
Land. Oh yeah, we want to go to the promised land. They get.
And while you'd think I had learned about not trying to do the work as a stream, I tried it again, not but like 3 days ago, with the frog skin abomination commentary. That was a travesty. I mean, it was okay, but as far as getting the distillate, I got like 2 pieces. None of the work gets done while I'm trying to entertain a stream and do the work at the same time, and I've come to that realization. But Raquel, welcome. We're doing a recursive accountability stalking time allotment marathon, which is a fancy way of saying we're going through the reruns, looking for times when the host said he was going to do something, and then if we snatch those, we can have a list of things that he should be working on that he said he'd do that he probably forgot about. And I thought, you know, I might as well, if I'm going to do it, maybe it can be a chat event, virtually not alone style. Because remember, Embody, there is no agency. It's just us LARPing.
No, there are giants in the land. I mean, it's always given. We don't produce it. We participate in it, but we don't produce it. It's a gift. Light
functions. Worlds are built on revelation, and will be given it's hard for people to understand what that means, but I think that the worlds are built on revelation.
And the difficulty of the Enlightenment, the iron box that the Enlightenment creates, is that there's the buffered self, there's no ability to be given. There's no revelation, there's no word from above. And Peugeot is right that it's always given. Israel doesn't rebel and get out of Egypt. The Lord comes and says, I'm taking you. Moses, well, send somebody else. And then Israel goes kicking and screaming in some ways to the promised land. Oh yeah, we want to go to the promised land. They get there. No, there are giants in the land. I mean, it's always given. We don't produce it. We participate in it, but we don't produce it. It's a gift. It's a revelation. It comes from always given. It's always given. We don't produce it. We participate in it, but we don't produce it. It's a gift. It's a revelation. It comes from above. Screaming in some ways to the promised land, and then Israel goes kicking and screaming. The Lord comes and says, I'm taking you. Rebel and get out of Egypt. The Lord comes and get out of Egypt. The Lord and says, I'm Egypt. The Lord comes and says, I'm taking you. We don't produce. Comes from above. The Lord comes and says, I'm taking you. Moses, well, send somebody else.
Geez, you'd think if the guy was there, like, watching the reruns, he could spare people this shit, knowing he didn't say anything he's looking for in it. Much like life, and this virtually not alone moment. It's a given that you feel less alone, because I'm also existing in this beautiful, wonderful, glorious gift of this timeline. Yes, me too. Something given involves a receiver. It can't be 100% emanation. Sure. We're God holding its breath. So, that's the receiver part. Good to see you, Luke. Thanks for coming by, everybody. Thanks for being part of the Hive Mind chat. Awesome you came by, Rez. Papable. The plumbing issues. The only explanation he has is goes with Crit Spetkow. This was the Thunder Bay promo stream. Stay tuned for the Thunder Bay promo product on this same bad channel. It's available now, actually. Thank you, and good night. Good night. Thanks, Graham. Good job. That was a nice stream, man. It wasn't like the stream before was much better, I think. But, which one's the good one and which one's the bad one, Top Feed? How can we tell them apart? Inquiring minds need to know for their own safety. I mean, the next stream we have is from August 7th with currently 111 views. Sunday service. Welcome, Embody. Remember, Embody, we want what's best for you. This is the Recursive Accountability Stalking Time Allotment Marathon. RASTA. Where I'm watching my reruns of myself in a narcissistic somersault. And some of my friends from the Hive Mind are joining me. We're having good times. We're on our 3rd episode of this marathon of live streams. We're looking for... No, that's a bad link. We're looking for... thing where I said I would do something, or I'm working on something, so that I can hold myself accountable and actually do the things I said, because I'm pretty sure I forgot about them. But here's another one. Right, Top Feed. You see. Now you see. Apparently this one starts slow. Oh. And the dumbass starts muted. Great. Great.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Sunday service for August 7th, 2022. A Grim Grizz live stream production brought to you by the Shadow Cabal of production executives. We didn't get a new slogan for this one. But if you're interested, you can join the Shadow Cabal of production executives by clicking on the Patreon link and stuff, and the Substack link and stuff in the description. On Sundays, we sometimes try to be of service to everybody. And on this Sunday, we're going to be of service to everybody by reading some divine love and wisdom by some guy who, like you, was born into a human body, kept waking up every day in the same fleshy sack. And he wrote some things in Latin way back when. Some guy translated them. I'm going to read them for you as a service in a moment. Meanwhile, I'm still picking out pieces for the Thunder Bay thing, so I'm going to let some of that run while I get ready to read the divine love and wisdom. Oh, wait. First, we must do the savings throws against the mind control. So this is like ancient mind control. Some guy wrote it in Latin, some other guy put it in English, and I'm going to read it to you. So here's your savings throws against all of that to come. You get to choose survival, social, wisdom, or heart. And then the number I roll is your savings throw number. If it's over 10, you made it. Huzzah! All right, survivalists, those of you who chose survival, 13. You're going to be all right. Socialists, with a 9. You may have gotten a bonus from your activity on the Discord. If so, you might have made it. Sophists, 7. Those of you who chose heart, 3. You got a 3 today. All right, so here's some of this. I'll be right back, and then we'll be reading the divine love and wisdom on today's Sunday service, Grim Grizz live stream.
Messy way, and sometimes in a violent way, but would work itself out. Whereas now what we've got is, in order to access the metaverse and to have access.
Bro, you're just gonna let it be that quiet,
You have
bro?
to give up every single aspect of yourself to this machine. You have to be completely submitted to it. You have to see, everything about you is going to be owned by this thing, and there's no way out of it. And so it's like it's 1984 and Brave New World at the same time. Like, who thought that this?
You really have to throw in the book This Perfect Day to have the complete dystopian trilogy to understand, because it's a combination of all three. Remember, Embody, there is no agency.
This was possible, but it seems like that's what we're kind of seeing on the horizon, where it's like it's absolute control, but one that is balanced out weirdly with this.
Okay, this is excellent. This is tremendously helpful, and thank you for speaking on his behalf, because he's not here to speak for himself. So there's now an issue of almost finesse or virtuosity or nuance, because you can't be critical of the self-organizing, having a life of its own aspect of this thing, because that's how it functions, right? So that can't be what.
Yeah, I think the reason why to have that aspect of the conversation is because one of the problems that we're seeing in this type of discussion is that when you point out to the machine, people will say, that's not possible because it requires a conspiracy, a complete centralized conspiracy, and therefore what you're saying is false. And what Paul's trying to say, no, what I'm saying doesn't require that. I can these self-organizing systems exist. This is one of them. It's excessive. It's parasitic. And I can describe it and say that it exists without, and you can't accuse me of saying it can't exist because it would require this insane, like, absolute top-down.
Oh.
Hey, on Sunday service, we're going to remember everybody. We're going to be reading the divine love and wisdom. Remember, everybody, we want what's best for you. No. This one? Sure. Make it bigger. All right, welcome. We now will begin for you the reading about divine love on this Sunday service live stream, August 7th, 2022. Love is our life. For most people, the existence of love is a given, but the nature of love is a mystery. As for the existence of love, this we know from everyday language. We say that someone loves us, that monarchs love their subjects, and that subjects love their monarch. We say that a husband loves his wife, and that a mother loves her children, and vice versa. We say that people love their country, their fellow citizens, their neighbor. We use the same language about impersonal objects, saying that someone loves this or that thing. Even though the word love is so commonly on our tongues, still hardly anyone knows what love is. When we stop to think about it, we find that we cannot form any image of it in our thoughts. So we say either that this is really, that this is not really anything, or that it's simply something that flows into us from our sight, hearing, touch, and conversation, and therefore influences us. We are wholly unaware that it is our very life, not just the general life of our whole body and all of our thoughts, but the life of their every last detail. Wise people can grasp this when you ask, if you take away the effects of love, can you think anything? Can you do anything? As the effects of love lose their warmth, do not thought and speech and action lose theirs as well? Do they not warm up as love warms up? Still, the grasp of these wise people is not based on the thought that love is our life, but on their experience that this is how things happen. We cannot know what our life is unless we know that it is love. If we do not know this, then one person may believe that life is nothing but sensation and action, and another that it is thought, when in fact thought is the first effect of life, and sensation and action are secondary effects of life. Thought is the first effect of life, as just noted, but there are deeper and deeper forms of thought as well as more and more superficial ones. The deepest form of thought, the perception of ends, is actually the first effect of life. But more on this below, in connection with levels of life. We can get some idea that love is our life from the warmth of all the sun in our world. We know this warmth acts like the life shared by all Earth's plants, because when it increases in the spring, plants of all kinds sprout from the soil. They dress themselves in their leafy finery, and then in their blossoms, and eventually in fruit. This is how they live. When the warmth ebbs away, though, as it does in fall and winter, they are stripped of these signs of life, and they wither. Love works the same way in us, because love and warmth correspond to each other. This is why love makes us warm. Welcome to the Sunday service, Virtually Not Alone Experience, Grim Grizz live stream for August 7th, 2022. I'm your host, Grim Grizz. You can buy shirts and stuff. God alone, the Lord, is love itself, because He is life itself. Both we on earth and angels are life receivers. I will be offering many illustrations of this in works on divine providence and life. Here, I would say only that the Lord, who is God of the universe, is uncreated and infinite, while we and angels are created and finite. Since the Lord is uncreated and infinite, He is that essential reality that is called Jehovah. and is life itself, or life in itself. No one can be created directly from the uncreated, the infinite, from reality itself and life itself, because what is divine is one and undivided. We must be created out of things created in finite, things so formed that something divine can dwell within. Since we and angels are of this nature, we are life receivers. So if we let ourselves be misled in thought so badly that we think we are not life receivers, but are actually life, there is no way to keep us from thinking that we are God.
Whoa, we're life receivers, not life? I've fallen into that mistake so many times. I got to thinking I was life itself, not just a receiver of life. Thanks for straightening me out, old past Grim.
Our sense that we are life and our consequent belief that we are life rests on an illusion. In an instrumental cause, the presence of its principal cause is only felt as something identical to itself. The Lord himself teaches that he is life in itself in John. As the Father has life in himself, so too he has granted the Son to have life in himself. And again in John, he teaches that he is life itself. Since life and love are one and the same, as we can see from the first two sections above, it follows that the Lord, being life itself, is love itself. If this is
Well, apparently there's kittens being made outside. This is all at this level of life. My stamina length is apparently an hour and 12 minutes. So thank you all for spending this time with me. I found 2 clips, but they really weren't. They really weren't things I promised to do. I'm gonna have to keep looking. I may do it again, live. I don't know. But for now, have a lovely weekend, everybody. Thanks, Rasta. An hour is a marathon now, because I said so.